Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here on a Thursday. There are several things to get done today. Of course, I'm in a little bit different of a shirt. I know y'all ain't used to the collar popping, but we do be getting out there. We be doing stuff. We be getting stuff done. Just gonna wait just a little bit for some people to get in here, and we have a few things to talk about. Some exciting news. Some hopefully game-changing moves. Literally. Game-changing moves. Of course, today we're going to mix in a little bit of football into this. Of course, I am a big football fan. I do like football. I've been pretty knowledgeable about it. If we ever want to do a pickup game and you need somebody to hit a poster out and drop it over some coverage, I mean, I'm a pretty good thrower of the football. Just saying, I really am. But I don't know who or what's going on personally right now with Tom Brady. It was pretty sad to see, actually, if we want to dabble into the football topics. It's pretty sad to see Tom Brady's performance last weekend against the Panthers. I mean, I expected him to bounce back real hardcore with all the, criticism and things that he had been going through. Of course, Antonio Brown's all over the socials, really trashing him. Making fun of his marriage, but maybe there's something going on there with Brady behind the scenes that's really affecting him. Of course, women can affect us men in our minds and our thinking clarities. This is no new thing for if women out there are like, oh my God, no, we don't. I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, most wars have been fought over women. Just saying, historically, that is saying. Now it's resources and stuff like that, but I guess historically, in the patriarchy, a woman would be a resource. So, same thing, right? I mean, in the patriarchal sense. I don't think that. That's just what it's been. But we are going to dabble into some football topics because a football star is actually involved in this topic, defending Super Bowl champion, matter of fact. And I think something that's really cool if we could get involved with people who are in football and in other sports is we can really make differences in the racing world. The biggest problem with the racing world is respect. Certain people are not getting respected properly, therefore they're not getting paid or sponsored properly. The perception and perspective is reality kind of phrase is definitely what's dictating this sport. For the majority of the public, World of Outlaw Sprint Car Racing is high school football. Maybe AAA. But for those who try to argue and say it's AAA, then what would you call Xfinity and trucks? Because the world perceives NASCAR Cup Series racing as the NFL, which is not true at all. But that's the perception. Perception is the reality. Sprint car racing, everything like that. So the reason I think getting other sports involved is so important is we could at least reach some other sports and help people understand how it's not the same. And in doing so, we can get some more respect for all these other divisions that are not NASCAR Cup racing. And I think teaching and helping people understand how there is no draft in racing. There is no high school levels of racing. There is no college levels of racing. These things technically do not exist. You buy and pay your way into different levels and segments of motorsports. That's just a fact. One driver can win 20 features at the same track, local tracks, which in the dirt racing world I would consider local tracks maybe a high school level, but even throw that out the window. Let's just say one track, one 16-year-old kid wins 20 races. One 16-year-old kid wins one, and if that person who won one race has a big daddy bankroll, he's going to be advanced to the next level. Whereas the guy who won 20 races, if he don't have money, he don't go anywhere. This is why I argue sometimes and say a local track, potentially across the country, local racing, in PA especially, this is true. And this is why I was making fun and joking about the Danny Dietrich situation with Denny Hamlin, and Denny Hamlin calling him, not a talent, not understanding the talent. this segment of, the 20 race winner not moving on to another level per se in the racing world to AAA of trucks or whatever, but the guy who won one race moving up. This is why I say all the time that a NASCAR Cup Series event on a Sunday afternoon potentially is not as competitive or difficult to win that race as it is to win at a local racetrack on a Saturday night. And I think that that's just true. Now, I think if a lot of people, if the public knew about these things, then we would get the respect for not only the local racer, but the national dirt racing talents. It's not just dirt. This could apply to short track racing. Honestly, this is the disease of the racing world, is the misconceptions of what is pro level, what is high level racing, how the names you see on the television screen on Sunday, how they actually get there. It's perceived because in every other sport you went to a high school, a college, and you were the best in all these divisions and you moved up. That's just not what happens. That's not true. That's not factual. That's fraudulent. And I think that some organizations make a living on this misconception of what racing is and how talent should be judged, respected, and viewed. So anyways, I think that's why it's important to possibly get some of these other people from different segments of different segments of sports involved to hopefully, teach more people what a sprint car is. It's not where 14-year-old kids learn how to drive like NASCAR's taught them that Casey Kane, Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Chris Bell did with that vehicle. And it's not just a vacation boat throughout the week. It's not just a hobby. It's where some of the best damn race car drivers in the world can be found. And that can be said in sprint cars and late models and dirt racing in general. And how a damn local racetrack event, especially in Pennsylvania, the Super Late Model Port Royal, 410 Sprint Car Port Royal, and go across the country, a local racetrack can be just as more competitive with more qualified talents than the NASCAR Cup Series because of the money factor. You can literally go buy your way into a NASCAR Cup Series a race. You can buy your way there. Now, you can buy your way into a local event, but the price tag's a little lower, therefore there's more fish in the pond. NASCAR and these big money entities out there that get all this pro-level respect and garnish all this attention are very, very small ponds. And all I'm saying is it ain't hard to be a badass fish when you're farm raised. And this dirt racing world, short track asphalt world's more like an ocean, and we got a bunch of damn sharks out here technically not getting any of the respect because the TV cameras don't pay attention to them because they don't have money. And money moves media. Money moves the camera. Money's where everyone pays attention to, especially in the racing world, because the only way you make money is by listening to it and doing what the money tells you. You don't make it in talent. You don't make it on, or you don't get respect for your talent. You get respect for minding somebody who has a lot of money who will then grant you with access to their vehicles, and those vehicles are access to a wider range of media entities. So it's very interesting how it works out. And the reason I brought this up, we'll just go ahead and look into it, is there was a post on Twitter, actually, of OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., defending Super Bowl champion, current free agent, working out. Obviously, he's a free agent. He's looking places to go, people to see. And he's in a gym right now in these pictures with a Donny Shots t-shirt. Now, dirt racing is a niche of 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 a niche. Another big reason that dirt racing is where it's at, it could be paying 20 or 30 times more, have 20 or 30 times more fans, is the relevancy of the sport. It's pretty much unknown. Dirt racing, a sprint car, most people, if you ask them, what is a sprint car? And I've done this across the street from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I've done this in Des Moines, in Knoxville. Well, not Knoxville, it's probably one place, but I've done it in Pennsylvania. I've done it at the Chili Bowl across the street. Ask them what a sprint car is, anything like that. They have no idea. The relevance is so horrible for dirt racing. And some people don't know that because they live in the bubble of where it is big. PA, another example. But this is a very intriguing picture of Donny Shot shirt. It is a little outdated. It's the Bad Boy Mowers machine. and it has Chevrolet on the hood, which we can't allow that anymore. So I guess Tony Stewart coming here. Of course, World of Outlaws posted it over there. OBJ, nice shirt. Tony Stewart Racing then went on and quoted this tweet and said, OBJ open invite to any World of Outlaws event at Donny Schatz and TSR compete in. Would love to have you come to a race with us. And OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., actually responded and said, let me know when. Would love to. Now, there's speculation, there's comments. Will we be seeing OBJ at the World Finals? I'm actually texting some people trying to get some answers real quick if that's going to be the case. But this is awesome. This is some more interaction with regular world people that this sport needs to do. We have to get this sport outside of the backwoods. And some people, oh, you have to expand this damn brand called dirt racing if you want it to survive. Now, some people say, oh, well, the future of motorsports is done. It's all going to EV vehicles and all this stuff, carbon emissions, blah, blah, blah. Well, the one thing that you should hang your hat on, dirt racing fans, as far as the future of dirt racing and motorsports, if you're worried about carbon emissions, I'll introduce to you on this T-shirt this vehicle right here that OBJ's wearing right here. And this vehicle right here is called a sprint car. Now, if I was talking to, on a podium to a city of people would say, what the hell is a sprint car, a Miata? Which is why I'm saying we have to fix. But no, this is motorsports potential saving grace vehicle. And other motorsport-based vehicles, potentially, they're saving grace as well. Because a sprint car runs on methanol, which produces 0 carbon emissions. Technically, this sprint car you see on the screen here is one of the most cleanest green vehicles in the world of motors. If there's any vehicle that has a leg to stand on in this going green carbon emission world, it is a sprint car that runs on methanol, which produces 0 carbon emissions. This is technically an EV vehicle. Now, EV people would argue and say, oh my God, but it still has oil and containment and all that. Yeah, well, that's not what's coming out the exhaust unless the motor blows up. But secondly, you need oil and other base motors out there running to even produce the EV systems that run your vehicle and develop the parts that are needed to even put your damn EV vehicle together. Regardless, as far as emissions are concerned, this is the future of motorsports. NASCAR and all these other people, they got to figure some stuff out. But as far as sprint cars are concerned, they run on methanol. 0 carbon emission vehicles. And it has a huge potential to go forward. Huge potential to go forward and expand the brand, bringing it out of the woods and all that. This is honestly one of the most ideal vehicles to push forward. And we don't run on asphalt tracks, which benefit the petrochemical industry as well. We run on dirt. If you want to really go full, left wing, protect the earth, we run on dirt, EV. I'm just saying, we don't have to have a resurfacing and all that uses all these chemicals and all this that produce. Sprint cars on dirt, one of the most safest, futuristic-based, clean, carbon emission-free base forms of motorsports in the world of motors, period. But anyways, this is really good news. I hope to see OBJ at a race very soon. And will it happen before the World Finals? Will it happen at the World Finals, that is? This is definitely going to be interesting to keep up with. Now, something else I wanted to talk about. We did have some other sprint car news come out. And that is this opportunity for Justin Sanders. For those who have documented, I've been a big supporter of Justin Sanders for years. One of those guys who, once again, back to this NFL level crap that doesn't exist. You could win everything and not level up. Well, this is a guy, a great example, that California racer who kicked everyone's ass that he's ever met at any track in different cars and everything, but he ain't in NASCAR. Why? Because no millionaire ran up to him when he was 16 or 14 years old like Kyle Larson and said, I want to give you all this money to go be a NASCAR racer. That didn't happen for Justin Sanders. It don't happen for a bunch of people. Doesn't mean that these guys ain't just, if Kyle Larson's Tom Brady, don't mean this ain't a Aaron Rodgers. Don't mean that this ain't a Peyton Manning. He just didn't have the money. And now he's up, hell, you send Kyle Larson up to NASCAR, he's a Tom Brady. Of course he's going to beat up on Tim Tebow's, which is what's a majority of talent up there in the NASCAR world. But anyway, this is a great opportunity. Going to be driving the USA 1 in Australia, Justin Sanders is. This was the announcement post by Tyler Strollo, number 95 car, I believe. It looks like he's set up to do a decent amount of races starting in December all the way to the end of January. That's when I was actually told, because I've been contemplating going to Australia instead of the Chili Bowl this year. I was told go there all of January, and that's technically the schedule that you would go out to do. And it looks like Justin Sanders has already got the plans in the makings and the tickets booked and the car ready to rock. So if I do go out there, this is pretty much my schedule that I'd be looking to make as well. I just got to find as many sponsors as his ass, because that's a damn expensive plane ticket, I'll tell you that. I think it's like $3,800 is the cheapest plane ticket. My ass sure as hell ain't about to drop that much. I'll go out there and work for it. I'll go do some documentaries, but I sure as hell I ain't doing it just for fun. There ain't no vacation when I go to the racetracks. I mix work with my fun, and that does make it hard on what is work and what is fun. But hey, I got a girlfriend to make it, get some fun. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, take it. I'm gonna run my mouth too much. But anyways, Justin Sanders going to Australia. That's some pretty good news there. Pretty good news there with the USA car. It'll be interesting to see how he does. There is a lot of short tracks out there in Australia. Justin Sanders, of course, racing out of California. He is a short track ace. He is a big track ace, or getting used to some big tracks. Obviously ran well at Knoxville, made the Nationals in his first attempt at it in the Swindell Speed Lab 39. And it's great to see him finally get some recognition that is definitely deserved. And this trip out there to Australia this winter is going to be awesome. I'm trying to do the same thing, but this is cool. And I like the colors, like the scheme, Motor Guard, Motorsport. I like that. This could be a new rap song for me. I could really take this to the next level. Anyway, there was something I wanted to talk about. Hold on, we will check the live chat just real quick. Get some live chatter in here. Them freaking tree huggers. Hold on, what did somebody just say? What does tree huggers have to do with anything right now? Love how World of Outlaws jumped to OBJ over a Donny shirt. Think World of Outlaws would have tweeted if he had a High Limit shirt on. More than likely, no. But, the High Limit is associated with Kyle Larson. We all know what Kyle Larson said a few years ago, so I don't think OBJ might like him or not. We don't know about that, do we? It's not tree huggers, Bruce. It's World Economic Forum, along with centralized banks pushing ESG scores. Okay, some people are a little too smart for the common man. We can't be saying smart things like that. We'd have to go into helium-3, and while we're going back to the moon to resource energy, and that would be the patriarchy selling off into the deep blue to harness that energy, and the Freemason symbolism behind that actually occurring is Tom Brady going from the Patriots to the Buccaneers. That is unfortunately scary and very true as well, but that's next level. That's next level. That's dotting the I's, P's and Q's, Top Gun 2 mixed with Space Force. This is war for resources once again. We can't get into Illuminati talks right now. We're trying to talk about other things. So anyway, we got to get off the chats before the truth comes out. Back to the web. A great... Oh, God. Sorry, the Puppet Master just tried to make fun of me. But, I'm sitting here looking at the schedule. I'm looking forward to it. But there is something else that happened. We had the Danny Dietrich instance the other day where there was the clip circulating of him going up to Anthony Macri and yelling at him, and there was a wreck on a restart. And in that video, we all heard the guy saying, you weren't even supposed to be there, Danny. You weren't even fucking supposed to be there, because he's talking to Danny Dietrich, that Danny Dietrich shouldn't even fucking been there. Apparently, This is true. And Baps Motorsport, or Motor Speedway, literally released a post on how this is true, and they are changing their ways. So the statement, basically, long story short, it has to do with Danny Dietrich doing a 360 spin on lap 28 of the 410 sprint car feature and kept going. He was given the second starting spot on the restart when he should have been fourth. This is in regards to the blend-in rule. And they are basically saying that the blend-in rule is done. We're not doing it anymore. So when this whole fight happens with Danny Dietrich, or this instance on the restart with Danny Dietrich happens, let's go ahead and push play on this. The situation at hand is Danny Dietrich was battling with Justin Peck. He had been leading laps. Dietrich comes in here, he's leading. Peck was all over him, though. I mean, he didn't have the speed to hold Peck off. That's just the truth. Peck was on a rail. He comes down here, puts a sweet little slider on Danny. Danny gets scared or something happens. He jumps the cushion, and he goes to spin around. And when he gets to going, the blend-in rule, which would be right there, Macri had just passed. Macri had just passed him. You see Macri's wing go by. They are saying right there it would have been fourth, but I'm thinking you shouldn't even be blending into your going, which would have been behind Michael Millard, but it's a judgment call. And then because of this, when they went to place Dietrich into the second spot, you will see it right here. They placed Dietrich into the second spot, and the ensuing restart is when all of this occurs with Macri and Dietrich. So the 360 blend-in rule is what's being blamed here. And this guy in the infield who was screaming at Macri, or screaming at Dietrich, shut the fuck up, you shouldn't even fucking been there, Danny. Apparently, and a lot of people, who was that guy? Yo, fuck him, he's a dumbass, fuck that guy, how dare. It's just like Larsonites. They got Danny Knights or something up there. I gotta make a name for them too. Where Danny Dietrich can't do anything wrong, and anyone who says anything to him negatively is sent from the devil. But this is an instance where this guy who was cussing from the infield at Dietrich as Dietrich's kicking in, Macri's car and yelling at Macri, apparently is true. He shouldn't have fucking been there. He shouldn't have fucking been there. And not is that fan correct in saying that, but now the track has literally came over and acknowledged this as true. Because they have literally said, we did it wrong. Danny, basically this post by Baps is, on Baps' Facebook, to sum this up, says, Danny Dietrich shouldn't even fucking been there. You shouldn't even, literally, Baps is literally saying, you shouldn't even fucking been there, Danny. And now, because of that, this judgment call of blend-in rule, we're not going to deal with this shit no more. And here's a quote. In an effort to be transparent about the situation, we admit there was an error in instituting the blend rule for that situation. To avoid any problems in the future, we decided to take that rule out altogether. The blend, and this could be, I mean, this blending rule is very interesting. In my opinion, if the guy does a 360, y'all throw the caution, and he keeps going. Old school way used to be, if he threw the caution, kept going, he gets his spot back where he was at when he started to spin out, but kept going. It was on y'all, the track, the judgment person, to throw the yellow to not give him the effort to keep going, which I get it at sprint cars. They may die. It's a safety issue. So this blending rule kind of was created. So the statement, it's multiple ways on this. Either, you do it that way, the old school way, or you do it the blend-in rule way, which the blend-in rule, once again, as he says, as the general manager says here, the blend rule has become a judgment call in this sport. It's so true. We feel it's important to make sure our officials and competitors have a clear understanding of a rule so that there are no questions or concerns during the event. And this rule will be implemented going forward, and it'll be implemented on their final showdown on November 12th, the final race of the year out there in PA, I do believe, that BAPS hosts every year. So this is very interesting. So you're going to have people really pissed off like Danny Dietrich, who spins out but keeps going. And now they're going to put him to the back because of the judgment call that an official is going to make that him spinning out is worth throwing a caution. And now that's going to cause a whole new jumble of BS. Because it's like, why'd y'all throw the caution? You kept going in every other class. Modifieds, late models, they spin out. They try to keep going. They don't throw the cautions. But because these cars don't have starters, when a sprint car starts to spin around, they automatically just throw the caution because they're thinking the car's going to die. And if the car comes to a stop, it needs assistance to get going again because it's a direct drive. No starters, all that. So this is going to be a very interesting situation. But honestly, the whole situation did occur between Macri and Dietrich because of this spin out situation and him getting his spot back at the outside of the front row on the restart. They blended him back in when he was clearly not up that far. When he got his car pointed in the right direction, Macri had already went by him, and that's kind of, you could, if you're any of these cars, you could have, and if you see this wreck right here and you say it's Dietrich's fault for not going, you could pretty much say it's the track's fault for blending them in where they did, that these cars are all destroyed. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm interested to see the live chat on this one. I'm assuming somebody's got to say something, although it is early in the day. We got to have a next level conversation with these fools. Chat. Oh my God, back to Illuminati. Sanders going down under is great. Yes, it is. Danny is getting into a lot of fights this year. Well, I mean, Danny is just, and I saw people say it, is Danny Dietrich just Sammy Swindell? Because he can never do anything wrong and he always is wrecked. He's never wrecked anyone. I mean, some people would say that's his way of thinking. That's how he acts. Be sure to super chat, by the way. Super chats are really cool. If you click super chat, helps the channel, helps things keeps going. There's also links in the description to join, partner up with the channel and all that like that. Memberships, I keep forgetting I need to add a little lower cost membership for more people to join. We'll do that before the end of the day. So stay tuned for that, because I'll be taking this video and splitting it up into multiple segments. So is it okay to dump anyone you don't think should be there? I don't think that that's what people are saying. They're just simply saying Danny wasn't even supposed to be there. Whether it was dumping or not, my judgment my judgment of the instance is Danny Dietrich just didn't go, and the car and Macri had nowhere to go. And if Macri doesn't stand on the gas and maybe bump Dietrich, help him get going, because that happens a lot, guys. I don't know why people are like, oh, why did you even touch him on the restart? There's a lot of times in restarts where a guy does get a late go, and the guy behind him will jump on the gas, hit him in the fucking rear end, and it won't spin him because the guy in front of him is on the gas trying to go when Macri. This is why I say something happened with the car, because if Macri goes in there and hits him. Say Danny just got a bad start and Macri didn't, and he went with the leader, because, I mean, Peck was, a full 2 car lengths ahead almost when the contact was made. Let's say Dietrich got a late start on the throttle there, and he goes to jump on the gas, and Macri doesn't. And he goes up there. If Dietrich's on the throttle going, even if it's slower than Macri, and Macri just comes up, it should push him and get him going a little quicker to catch back up with Peck. The only way the only way that car gets hit like that by Macri, because it wasn't just like Dietrich was stopped and got hit like that. Dietrich apparently is restarting and trying to go. He's just going a little slower, and that should have pushed him up more. So the only way really that car just snapped around when Macri hit him is that he wasn't under the throttle, and the car didn't have any forward momentum to be pushed forward. It had to be stopped. It had to go back. This is inertia. This is like physics, ladies and gentlemen. So Danny's car didn't go. The guy yelling from the infield when Danny Dietrich is kicking in Anthony Macri's nose wing, kicking in the front of his car. This guy who's defending Macri, screaming, saying, you shouldn't even fucking been there, Danny, is true. He shouldn't have been there. And the track is acknowledging that. Everyone has now acknowledged that he shouldn't have even fucking been there. Now, this guy is a fan. Honestly, and I've noticed this in racing, period. Do we just have too many fans in officiating positions? Because this is a judgment call. Who judged that Danny Dietrich was in second? I've experienced this. I've been in track management. I've been behind the scenes when an official makes, this car goes there, and I'm like, how? That guy got past 2 laps ago. I watched it. I was announcing the race. I saw that guy get past. Personally. So why is he there? And this is a whole nother situation. I'm just saying, sometimes in officiating crews, we have fans that are sometimes underpaid. Therefore, they use their personal fandom to make judgment calls. That's a big problem in the sport. I hear that happens on the outlaw level. That's what I hear. I don't know if that's fact or fiction, but I hear that happens on the outlaw level, personally. But anyways, it is very interesting to see that the tracks basically stood next to the guy screaming in the video, "You shouldn't even fucking been there, Danny," and literally said, well, yep, he shouldn't have fucking been there. But anyway, one more topic to discuss, and then we'll get into the rest of the chats if there is any. This is a situation with the Chili Bowl, and I'm going to show Shawn Michaels' post just because the Chili Bowl took this down. So yesterday, some news dropped about how right rear 84 midget tires would not be permitted at the Chili Bowl this upcoming year. The tire is going to be discontinued, therefore the tire will not be allowed to run. And it is a competitive advantage, so I halfway agree with the Chili Bowl as to why they were going to take it out altogether. But apparently people do stack these 84 right rear Chili Bowl tires because of the advantages that you have in running them, and you can only run them one time a year. So for the teams who don't stack midget tires back, or say I hit the lottery tomorrow and I want to build me a midget team and I want to just go win the Chili Bowl, I can't buy these tires that Shawn Michael and all these people have. And most everyone knows that these right rear tires are an advantage at the Chili Bowl. That's why the top teams have them stacked up all year long. So I get that the Chili Bowl, since the tire's being discontinued, and a guy like me, if I wanted to buy and have a midget team, brand new 5, 6, 7 cars, I can't compete now, technically up front, with these guys on a fair level playing field because I can't buy the tire that they are kicking my ass in. I could see how the Chili Bowl was trying to keep that from happening, but car owners, and Shawn Michael wasn't technically bitching, but some car owners who have these tires stacked up for this performance advantage at the Chili Bowl were losing their damn minds. And Shawn Michael's post here looks like the 84 right rear Chili Bowl tires can be put in the dumpster. Rich Reinhardt said, I got that email too. Shawn Michael then said, email from Chili Bowl. Hoosier isn't making 84s any longer, so tire rule is 82s. Was stupid that they made the 84s just for the Chili Bowl anyways. I 100% believe that. But a guy that had a bunch of 84s can just throw them out now. I have, I'll say, half a dozen or so new 84s. So this is a situation that really made some people upset. Now, mind you, what I just explained on how the Chili Bowl, I think, was doing the right thing here. I think that they were doing the right thing. But money, we started this with how the sport listens to money, and if you don't listen to money, you get exiled, you get treated differently. People aren't going to come. We already saw the announcement from Kyle Larson. He's not going to the Chili Bowl unless they pay more than $10,000 to win. I stand by that decision for sure. But it seems like a bunch of people with a bunch of money outside of Kyle Larson who have race cars with, 284s or whatever. They have all these 84 right rear Hoosier tires. They called the Chili Bowl and said, well, this is some bullshit. I got thousands and thousands of dollars in tires, and you just said I had to throw them away. But because of this bitching, we had this post come out today, 1 hour ago, by the Chili Bowl. Event update. Any midget tire will be allowed at the 2023 Chili Bowl. See how social domains can change the sport. It's funny, I talk about social domains and how today the World of Outlaws can be something one day and not be anything come next year if they don't treat High Limit and Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet. Nice. And this is what I'm talking about. Social domains can change so many things. Like when Kyle Busch and Brexton Bush was going to get that provisional into the A main last year at Shootout, and then I went live, and then all of a sudden after I went live and 45,000 people heard about what they were doing behind closed doors in that little building, then the social domain forced that cancellation and then supposed decline of provisional. That's what is going on. The social domain runs so much more, and these people in powerful positions, they hate that. They hated it. They're getting bullied by public opinion, and they hate it. They hate it that they're finally having to bend, that they can't just get away with their dirty deeds behind closed doors. They hate it so bad. Sandusky. But anyways, we would like to, oh God, they started out this really nice. We would first like to apologize for the confusion and panic caused by Wednesday's release regarding tire usage at the 2023 Lucas Oil Bowl National. Oh my God, typo, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, by Wednesday's release regarding tire usage at the 2023 Lucas Oil Bowl National, presented by General Tire. First of all, this is like two issues, right? It should be Chili Bowl Nationals presented by General Tire. And they missed the Chili and Nationals. 2023 Lucas Oil Bowl National presented by General Tire. Oh my God. I guess this is doubling down on the misprint or something. We have rescinded the requirements for the tire for the rear axle, and any brand of midget racing tire will be accepted for use during the 2023 event. The tires that were posted Wednesday are the ones that Hoosier is manufacturing, but all discontinued inventory of midget racing tire will be allowed for use. As always, chemically taken, it'll take samples and all that. But my God, you got a misrelease apparently, or something, and then you have a rescinded statement that's gonna save the day, and you title your event the 2023 Lucas Oil Bowl National. That don't even sound right. If it would have said 2023 Lucas Oil Bowl Nationals presented by General Tire, that would make sense to me. Incompetence is ultimately, I mean, I could talk social domain, but it's incompetence that ultimately takes events down. And, you know, Larson with the payout has a good point. The flip-flop here with the rules, because of the public domain, has a point. And then you are the 2023 Lucas Oil Bowl National presented by General Tire. I don't even want to talk about how I think somebody's saying that this is like the last year for the Chili Bowl because the grounds have been purchased. I haven't reported or said that publicly because I don't think it's true. That's something you really have to think about. But my God, I mean, mistakes come first, and this looks like one of them. Oh my. But anyways, tire situation has been reneged. So Shawn Michael over there with the, you know, his Miller Lite 64s and all that can calm down. It looks like his half dozen or so new 84s are safe. Anyways, back to the live chat. We're about to close this all on out. Let's see here. Big fan of Danny's. Everybody's crying about Danny Rich's motor. All tire rules are BS. All tire rules take the negotiating power from the teams to the series. All tire rules make a very select few rather rich. That's true. I mean, but that's how it's going to be. Bruce said, I am sure KKR has a garage full of 84 right rears. That is probably exactly what happened. They already lost Kyle because they won't pay no more money. Kyle's gone. They're one star. And the one thing that has stood by the Chili Bowl or the Lucas Bowl National has been Keith Coons. And there's some other teams, I'm sure. I'm sure KKR had a full slate of them. I'm sure that Matt Wood's team over there had a full slate of them. I'm sure the Haywards. I'm sure Ryan Bowles had them. I'm sure The EnviroFab team over there had a bunch of, I'm sure a lot of them is Shawn Michael and his little, he doesn't even like midgets. He just brings them to, have fun. If he's got a half a dozen or so, imagine and he's got 1-2 cars sometimes. Imagine what these teams bringing 10 cars have. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of them out there. But I also think that I personally think that Chili Bowl had the right idea here in canceling them out. Because say some big money guy wants to get involved with the sport, he all of a sudden can't just go out and buy everything he needs on his own to compete at this event. He's literally got to go to another team and ask them, will you please sell me a tire? He's got to go ask somebody if they'll sell him a tire, guys, to compete. Because these 84s are a pretty damn big advantage at the Chili Bowl. It's one of the only places they even have special rims for them and everything. All sets. So, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting that the Chili Bowl, I think, in this instance was doing the right thing, but they got the social domain, the pressure, the money, the people pushed them out of that decision. So, I don't know how to feel about it. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you got any more comments, super chats will be read. There are some links in the description to get you a Chaz hat. Long live the Chaz hat. I personally like this one. I'm trying to find an outfit that will fit it. But if you can look really close, it's got that dark camo. And, of course, these are the Flex Fit Mesh. We got two types of Flex Fits in there. A Flex Fit closed rear and a Flex Fit Mesh. The Mesh is on the last page, so check out that last page to get that style in particular. But the closed fits are nice, too. I like mesh. I like mesh on the back, That's just me. I like mesh. I like back. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be getting off here. We might be doing some kind of watch parties across the weekend. Of course, this weekend you got the Bridgeport race. They got 3 divisions, I believe it is, every single day. I know 410s are racing every single day, so I believe that's on Flow. And then you got the World Short Track Championship from Charlotte. That's happening every day as well. I'm seeing some comments, but they're not super chatted. So I can't read them. I should read them, though. Does Macri plow come off the car? I don't know why you would even say that. How many car did Macri drive? See, if you can't write sentences like the Lucas Oil Chili or Lucas Oil Bowl National, I just can't. I can't acknowledge it. I'm sorry. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe. We did just pass 5,000 subscribers. I want to thank everyone who has tuned in and made that possible. That's a really big feat on YouTube. 5,000 subscribers on YouTube is like 50,000 on Facebook. So that's how big of a deal that is. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you tomorrow. If anything happens throughout the weekend, we will be here to update it, talk about it. We may dabble into some other stuff as well, and see what we can figure out. Content's going to continue to come, and one way or another, we'll be back. We'll be back. It's going to be interesting, but we'll be back. I'm waiting on this update from OBJ and Donny Shots. If that comes out, that's news to me. The world needs to know. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time here on Long Live the Chaz.